everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm in a different location. I'm in my boyfriend's bedroom. He's right there. He's doing homework, so just ignore him. But today I'm doing a review of the movie M3GAN, which I saw January 8th. I don't know what day this is gonna go out, but it's being filmed on January 14th, so it's been like about a week since I saw the movie, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. Yes, this is coming out a couple weeks after it came out, but I think that's fine. That's what I usually do, is I usually do movie reviews like months after the movies actually come out. I don't think I've ever filmed a movie review like the day that it came out or the day that I actually saw it. I think I've only done that like maybe twice. But yeah, this is a movie review of the horror movie M3GAN that came out January 6th, 2023. Spoilers ahead for anyone that hasn't seen the movie. This is just my opinion of the movie, what I thought of it, and yeah, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie. I do recommend it, and then come back and watch this review. So let's get started. So my opinion of M3GAN, if I was going to give it a rating out of like 1 out of 10, I'd give it probably like a 7. And then out of stars, like out of 5 stars, I give it a 3, maybe a 3.5. Reason being is I'm personally not a big fan of horror movies. I don't see a lot of horror movies. The only horror movies I really watch are Scream, and I watch more horror comedy. I'm not a big fan of like gory movies. Like I didn't go see Terrifier or anything like that because I hate that kind of stuff. It's just really gross to me. And I can't watch it. Like I would have physically, like I would have been one of the people that went and threw up because I couldn't have dealt with it. But yeah, so M3GAN's a horror movie. It's not something I would usually go and see, but I really wanted to see it because I thought the premise was kind of interesting of like, it's kind of a mixture of Chucky, you know, this doll coming to life or like becoming sentient, I guess, and then going on like a killing rampage. And then there was some, I guess that's the main reference, is like it's a little bit like Chucky, but it's also not, because Chucky was a doll. This is an artificial intelligence. And I have a lot of information about artificial intelligence because I played one in a play once. Not a joke, natural fact. That's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, M3GAN was, it was interesting. It's the first movie I saw this year. It's the first time I've gone to a movie where it just came out. The only time I do that is with Marvel movies because my friends go and see them, or my family. I don't go to movie theaters a lot recently because of the pandemic, and also it costs a lot of money. Now, there weren't a lot of people in our movie theater, to be honest. There were like a few, but not a lot. There was like a couple of like groups of people, very small groups, like a couple of couples, and all that sort of thing, but not like a whole like big crowd or whatever. So the premise of the film, I feel like the trailer actually doesn't give away a lot about the film because there are parts of the plot that I don't think a lot of people realize. One, the woman that's taking care of the little girl, that's not her mom. I feel like a lot of people think that's her like single mom or whatever. So the little girl in the film, her parents die basically 5 minutes in. They're killed by a snowplow, and then her aunt, her mom's sister, then gets custody. But the entire film is basically how this aunt doesn't know anything about kids and doesn't know anything about taking care of kids, and creates this artificial intelligence basically to like help her with stuff, but it's kind of taking away the responsibility of being a parent. I think that's kind of the message, if there is like a moral lesson or anything like that, is like when you're a parent you have all those responsibilities. When a child goes through something traumatic, you can't just give them a toy and make them expect it like go away, like that trauma to just disappear, which is kind of the big message or whatever. The trailers, listen, the movie's campy. It's campy horror, and that's great. I think a lot of people are getting the message of why do gays love this film because it's been like advertised a lot. And a lot of gay people are like, oh my god, M3GAN. And it's like, why is it so popular? And is it like, oh, you know, found family or whatever? No, it's because she's serving cunt. M3GAN serves cunt. I'm saying that as like, you know, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. You know, she's serving. God, I hate sounding gay, but you know, that's kind of what she does in this whole film. Is like, she's created. She's an artificial intelligence that was already being worked on at the beginning of the movie, but the creator decides to like make it actually happen because her boss didn't want it. Her boss thought it was stupid. And then it basically, there's only one M3GAN doll. There's only one, but they're thinking of creating more after it gets advertised and after the boss finds out it's a really great invention. But the little girl kind of gets really attached, like too attached to the doll. And it's kind of scary how crazy the little girl gets without M3GAN. Like, she becomes incredibly dependent on this doll, and it's kind of scary what she does and like how devoted she is to it, even though it's not a real person, but she sees it as a real person. As the movie goes on, you start noticing the doll starts to look more and more human because it keeps being like update and update and update. At the beginning, you're like, that's a robot. And then as it goes on, it's like, it's starting to look a little bit uncanny valley shit. Although I didn't feel very uncanny valley when I looked at it. I was like, that's a robot. But there were times where I was like, is it a robot? Is that a little girl? Like, and they CGI'd her face. I think it's a mixture of both, because in the credits it shows that there is a puppeteer, it is a puppet, but there's also like a girl who does like the dancing and the stuff where it's not on strings. Like, it's just her face is CGI'd to look like a doll. So the plot is like a 6. I mean, the main thing that takes the movie down is the acting. The little girl, like, she's kind of one note. She's either like yelling or crying, and that's it. Like, she doesn't really do a lot. I mean, she's okay, but you know, I think this is her first acting role. I don't think she's ever done something as big as this, so it is, you know, a huge responsibility. She is one of the main stars. The girl that plays her aunt, that woman, she's trying, but I think it's also the script is kind of cringy. There are so many poop jokes, like so many like toilet humor, where I was like, why do we need this? That's gross. I don't understand why toilet humor is in everything now. I don't find toilet humor funny. I don't think it's funny at all, but for some reason in the movie they put like a joke about the bathroom like every 20 something minutes there's a joke about the bathroom. Like, you could literally count how many bathroom jokes are, and it would be like over at least 5 in the movie. But my favorite things about the film is that it starts off with an ad for another toy. Basically introducing the premise is like, this little girl has this toy, and how you play with it is you use an iPad to like play with it, which is like really stupid to me. I'm like, why not just keep it on the iPad? Like, why does it have to be a toy, but then you don't really play with it? You play with the iPad instead, and like makes noises and responds and all this stuff. And then her parents die, aunt gets custody, aunt doesn't know what to do, aunt builds a robot, the robot goes crazy. Because the robot starts becoming attached to the little girl, Katie, that's her name, starts to get attached as well. Because she's paired with her, right? Like Bluetooth kind of deal. But she knows everything about Katie. She finds out that Katie's parents are dead, so she downloads information about death and how it works. But she doesn't really have a moral compass. Her whole the whole reason she exists is to protect Katie and make sure Katie's safe and help her. The first menacing thing that the doll does is that the aunt has a next door neighbor who has a dog, and this dog is vicious. This dog is a vicious dog. This dog runs on their yard every day. But there's a hole in the fence. So Katie's playing with toy bow and arrows. She loses with the arrows. M3GAN finds the arrow. It happens to be in the other yard, so she reaches through the hole in the fence. The dog attacks the doll. Guess what? The doll doesn't look like a toy. It looks like a human arm. So the dog just attacked a child's arm without realizing it was a child's arm. Dogs are stupid. But it attacks the doll, M3GAN. So Katie goes to save it or rescue it. And then Katie gets bit by the dog because of what M3GAN did. So Katie gets bit by the dog. The aunt finds out, she cleans her up, she has to call the police. And it's well, there's not really much we could do because Katie was technically on the land, and also you said you didn't see anything. And it's yes and no, because yes, she put her arm through the fence, but the dog didn't have to bite her arm. I know some people would see what the dog did was justified, but it's also the aunt's kind of to blame because she wasn't keeping an eye on her kid. She was making M3GAN keep an eye on the kid. And when M3GAN wasn't able to keep an eye on the kid, then Katie got hurt. So then M3GAN, her first kill is the dog. We don't see the dog die on screen. Guess what? The dog dies. Very sorry. We don't see the dog die on screen. We don't see the dog's death. I think because it would have been too graphic. But they do not show the dog dying. It's just implied. And then she does say near the end of the movie, the dog is dead, that it's buried somewhere in someone's yard. First of all, the doll knows how to bury a body. Kind of weird. So that's kill number 1. And then kill number 2 is a lot more graphic. So the aunt is trying to get Katie socialized because Katie's been being homeschooled by her mom. First of all, homeschool kids, freaking weirdos. And I think that's the problem with Katie is that she's had a certain structure for her whole life, and now that structure is kind of gone. And the structure that she has is not the structure of a normal child. She doesn't go to normal school. She's homeschooled because her mom didn't want her to go to school. Don't get it. But the aunt is hey, there's this camp. It's not really school. It's more about social skills. She takes her there for a day, and there's this boy there who has extreme anger issues. He's the one person in the movie that drops an F-bomb. Because it's a PG-13, by the way, this is just my opinion, and people are gonna argue with me on this, but I feel if you're making a horror movie, you should have it rated R. I feel PG-13 is really weird for a horror movie because, yeah, you could do some things, but there's some things you can't do when you have a PG-13 rating. You're only allowed to say fuck once, and this kid gets to say fuck, and he says it to his mom, and he goes, fuck off, Carol, or fuck off, Helen, or whatever her name is. I don't remember. But it's okay, but she's the kind of mom that's my kid can do nothing wrong. He just has some issues, And I'm no, your kid is an actual psychopath. Fuck you. So he gets paired up with Katie. They go out into the woods. They're playing around or whatever. He finds this spiky fruit thing and stabs her hand with it, and M3GAN shows up, right? M3GAN shows up out of nowhere. And she's just staring. And the boy's what's that? Is it a toy? What is it? And she's oh, she's not gonna do anything because she's mine. She's paired with me. So he picks M3GAN up and runs through the woods with her. And M3GAN's not doing anything, right? So Katie's running around the woods trying to find M3GAN. And then the little boy throws M3GAN on the ground and keeps being like, "You're not gonna play with me, huh?" Takes off her shoe, straddles her, and slaps her in the face. And I'm like, is the little boy gonna sexually assault the artificial intelligence doll? Is that where we've gotten to as a human race? That we're implying that the 12-year-old boy is going to sexually assault a doll? The fuck? So then she grabs his ears, rips off like the whole skin, like this part of his ear, rips it off, which is really hard to do actually. I'm trying to pull it hard. She pulls off his like whole ear, rips it off, chases him through the woods. He falls down a hill, and then he gets hit by a car. We see him get hit by the car, and then there's just a blood smear in a shoe. And you know, that's dark. That's a little bit dark. But yeah, that's the second kill. Then she kills the neighbor using like chemicals and shit, because like this woman like gardens a lot and she has a bunch of like chemicals, and she like burns her essentially with chemicals, like gives her a bunch of chemical burns and it kills her. Then she doesn't kill the girl's friends. She attempts to. She attempts to kill the aunt's friends. Now, the little girl realizes M3GAN is not safe, that M3GAN killed people, that M3GAN's bad, that she shouldn't be around M3GAN, like all this stuff. They go home, and M3GAN's at like the factory, I guess, or like her job. And M3GAN's there, and she's turned off, but she's actually not. So M3GAN then attempts to kill the aunt's best friend / co-workers, doesn't work. She ends up killing the guy's, her boss, which is when she does the dance thing. Oh, the cringiest shit. Okay, this is before dance. The dance is like cringy, but not cringy. This is the cringiest part. So the doll apparently sings. I guess the actress can sing, I don't know. Or like the voice actress of M3GAN could sing, I don't know. So she sings to Katie in one scene to like comfort her. And it's pretty normal. I think it's a song that's like made up. It's not a real song, but she's kind of like, I'll hold memories for you. If you tell me stuff, I'll remember. Like everything will be in your heart. You know, that bullshit. But then later on in the movie, Katie is like, did you hurt people? Did you do this? And M3GAN's like trying to be comforting. And she starts singing Titanium by Sia. I'm not joking. I was in that movie theater like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? And I was so confused as to why no one was reacting. Because if it was my friends in there, we all would be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? That was my entire face was just going, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck? So that was something. That was great. She does the dance. She kills her creator's boss and then kills his assistant. And the reason she kills the assistant is like to like plant that he killed the boss. So then M3GAN like escapes the factory, ends up at their house, because she can like log into other artificial intelligences. That's something that's pretty cool. She can like connect with other artificial intelligences, like a Tesla. She could like connect to it and make it drive. Drives to the house, and the aunt, who I don't remember her name whatsoever, the aunt like notices something's wrong and sees M3GAN. And M3GAN's like, we're gonna have a little talk. And I'm like, oh no, this is weird. So M3GAN's like, you're gonna let me live here. Who cares that those people died? Like, who gives a shit? They're not important. Okay, you told me to keep Katie safe, so I did. I kept myself safe, because I'm important, right? So she's like ranting, and then Katie starts hearing it, and she's like, what's going on? And M3GAN could also mimic people's voices, which is creepy, very, very creepy. She can mimic people's voices. And then, so Megan's trying to kill the aunt, right? And it's like, how the fuck would you be able to do anything if you killed the aunt? It's like, what's your plan here? So then they're like fighting and Katie finds them. And during the beginning, we get a little bit of exposition where apparently the aunt had tried to create another version of Megan like years ago when she was in college. It was like this big robot that you control with like gloves. And I can't remember its name, Roger or like, I don't know, something like that. Or Robert, I don't know, Robbie, Bobby, I don't know. But she created that and the little girl uses it, like connects to it to fight Megan. So Megan is destroyed. Megan is destroyed by the end of the movie. She's like ripped in half, her system's like destroyed, everything. But the thing is, she connected with the artificial intelligence that controls the house, right? Because this woman has a fully automated house, which means there's an artificial intelligence that controls the lights, the water, like all this shit. And it's called Elsie. I'm like, oh shit. Next movie's gonna be called Elsie. We got that first of all. But it's like, we already know there's gonna be a sequel because it's made a lot of money. I'm pretty sure it's surpassed Avatar. Like the new Avatar movie, I'm pretty sure it's surpassed it. Because it's, I'm not saying it's crazy good. I'm just saying it's so camp and so stupid. And like, I don't even know how I was supposed to react to it without being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how am I supposed to react to this? Because it's just like, it's a horror movie, but it's also like, this is just weird. It's kind of like sci-fi-ish, obviously. Most horror movies do have a bit of sci-fi in them. But this one definitely does with the whole technology and all of that and artificial intelligence. As someone who played an artificial intelligence in a play many years ago in Frankenstein 2.0, I played the artificial intelligence. None of y'all know about that, but if you do, keep it to yourself. It was a cringy moment in my life. I played a robot. One of my favorite roles, and the only lead role I've ever fucking had, the only lead role I've ever had was playing a robot. That's not a joke. I deserve an award for everything I went through. But yeah, it was a good movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. I will say a lot of the acting is kind of cringy. Megan's probably the best actor in it, but the acting is kind of cringy. It's funny. I don't understand the toilet humor. That kind of takes some points off. But yeah, and then 3 out of 5 stars, maybe 3.5 stars. It's not terrible. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen worse movies. I've seen worse horror movies. I've seen worse anything movies. So this isn't the worst movie I've ever seen. But I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of campy horror movies, if you're a fan of gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Because that is this movie. It's a majority female cast. I'm pretty sure there's only like 3 main male characters and 2 of them die. So it's a majority female-led cast, which is pretty cool. The aunt, the little girl, her best friend, the therapist, Megan, of course. You know, oh, like I said, there's a therapist. There's a therapist in this movie, like a grief counselor thing. And another part of the film is that the aunt might not be able to get full custody because the sister wanted her sister to have full custody. The girl's mom wanted her sister to have full custody so that she wouldn't have to move away. But her brother-in-law's parents are being like, we can take her, but then they'd have to move her to Florida, and it's like, that probably wouldn't be the best idea for her. Because then she'd be like away from everything. But you know, it was a good movie, a little bit cringy, very fun, not too gory. I wouldn't say it's super violent. I will say the dog does die, but the dog does not die on screen if you're worried about that, but yes, the dog does die, which does ruin a movie for me. If I see the dog die on screen, then I'm a little bit more upset. If I don't see it die on screen, I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of like, okay, I'm good. I didn't see it die on screen, so I'm okay. But yeah, not the best, not the worst, 7 out of 10. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And it's currently out in theaters. It came out January 6th. It should be in theaters until like the end of January at least. I don't know what streaming service it's gonna be on. Probably HBO Max. If not, I don't think it's made by Paramount, so it won't go to Paramount Plus. It might end up on Hulu one day. Probably HBO Max though. Probably HBO Max. I know my mom really wants to see it. For some reason, my mom, when she was watching the commercials, was like, I want to see that M3GAN movie. My dad's like, seriously? Because, you know, my dad's not a film buff, but he's definitely not, like, into movies like that. But he's kind of like, do you want to watch M3GAN? Although, I want to watch Cocaine Bear this year, so all of us have questionable movie tastes. Cocaine Bear. I wish the bear talked. That would have made it funnier. That was my review of the movie M3GAN. He can't give his opinion. I did see it with him, but he's currently doing homework and I don't want to bother him right now because he's busy. But we both liked it. I don't know anyone else who's gone to see it, but if you saw M3GAN, please let me know how you felt about it in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? What do you think they could have done to make it better? I wish the acting was better and the script was a little bit better. I just wish the acting was better. I think that's the thing that threw it off for me was the acting was cringy. But yeah, if the acting had been a little bit better, like have maybe a couple more seasoned actors in there, could have been a little bit better. But definitely worth seeing. Definitely worth it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more movie reviews in the future. Comment what movies you want me to react to next. I really want to see Cocaine Bear because it sounds so stupid. I want to see Barbie. I'm obviously gonna see the Barbie movie because Margot Robbie and also like a bunch of people in that cast I love. Anne Hathaway is in the movie, I'm pretty sure. It said Anne Hathaway, so definitely gotta see Barbie. So I will do a review of that. Hit the notification bell for a new video as soon as this one reaches double-digit views, or by next week, whichever one comes first. Follow the social media links in the description below. There's Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, my fandom Tumblr, my other Tumblr, and Twitter. If you want video updates, go to Twitter and Tumblr. And TikTok, I post like videos of me doing makeup or skincare, or sometimes I do hauls on there. So if you're interested in seeing more shorter videos, definitely check out my TikTok. Over here will be my last movie review, which was Monster High, the movie. Okay, I'll stand by my opinion that it's not terrible, it's just not like the original. But definitely go check out that last review, and this is a playlist of all my movie and TV show reviews. I've reviewed a few things, but not a lot. But definitely tell me what movies and TV shows you want to see me review next, and I'll see you in the next video. And you can subscribe right here, and these links will also be in the description as well as on the screen right now. Okay, bye-bye!